At this time, I would like to turn today's program over to Darren Cunningham with Informatica Cloud. Darren, you begin.
Everybody, to today's webinar. We've seen a tremendous amount of interest in this topic, as always, with Salesforce customers who are looking for ways to get data in and out of Salesforce dynamically. So I do want you to know, before we kick in here to the agenda we have, that we'll be sharing the presentation and recording, put out there for everyone to access as a resource as well. So today's agenda, we're going to talk through the importance of data loading. Why is this such a hot topic? We're actually going to also expand it beyond data loading and talk about some of the other aspects of integration that we see at Informatica as being critical to Salesforce success. We'll go through some different options you may be considering when you're thinking about getting data in and out of Salesforce. And we're going to be spending quite a bit of time on a demonstration. So Krupa Natarajan is here from Informatica Cloud Product Management, and she's going to be really highlighting what's possible with Informatica as Informatica Cloud, as well as what's new with our latest release. So we're going to wrap up with some best practices, and I do want to encourage you, if you're on today's call live, to use the chat panels, and we can take some questions and have interactivity. And so let's get right in. So why is data loading so important? What we're seeing is that all aspects of cloud data management have become top of mind and have really been recognized now as the critical ingredient to overall cloud success, not just Salesforce success. So today we're going to be talking specifically about Salesforce data loading. You can use our cloud data loader for other cloud applications. You can certainly bring beyond just data loading with the advanced additions of Informatica Cloud. We also have data quality capabilities, master data management, hierarchy management. There's really a broadening portfolio of options that were available to you. I think recognizing that the maturing category, and now you think about how to make sure you get the most out of all of your SaaS application investments, that you really think through data management early and often. And I like this quote here, having Salesforce without integrations like having a house on a beautiful island with no way to get there. The island kind of looks like a whale or a pork chop or something, but I'm sure it's quite beautiful when you do get there. So some of the issues that occur if you don't think about data integration and really think about a strategy up front. Well, what we've seen is an increased problem around data fragmentation, where you've got these disconnected data silos that might serve short-term needs, but at some point in their life cycle, they hit a wall and they become less valuable. In fact, in many cases, they can cause more challenges as different groups within the organization are working on different sets of data. So it's really important to have connected data. We've also seen a correlation between adoption and data quality, as well as data integration. So the old adage, garbage in, garbage out, is always relevant in the CRM world. But if you make sure that your front office systems are connected to other sources, in particular back office systems, you're going to see a tremendous advantage and real ROI benefit in terms of adoption. The last point I don't want to de-emphasize, or I really can't really stress enough, is how many a lot of you are in trying to pull data out and get consolidated information when it comes to your analytics, struggling in Excel spreadsheets, Excel hell, as some people call it. There's a real advantage of keeping you all in Salesforce and getting more value out of that investment. So those are some of the issues we've seen around organizations who haven't thought this through. Sometimes organizations get started with fairly tactical approaches, and they hit the trough of disillusionment, right, where they see some initial euphoria because the CRM is better than what they had before, but they then hit this barrier when the actual users realize that they still have to log into multiple systems to get the information they need to do their business or to do their job. So I'm probably preaching to the choir to many of you, so I'll dive right into some of the different options and then hand it over to Krupa to take you through Informatica's approach to cloud loading. So the three options you have to consider when it comes to data loading, and this is true not just for Salesforce, but we're going to specifically talk about Salesforce today. So the first is, of course, encoding. I think, when it comes to getting data into systems, people always first think that it might be easy to write some scripts and do some quick and dirty coding, and you're done. It's sort of the code and go mindset. This is looking at what's available with the native tools from the vendor. What they help me with just to help get this off the ground. And finally, this emerging category of cloud-based approaches to data integration. We'll spend our time today. So look at these really quickly. So the first is around hand coding. And there's a lot of research done to indicate that writing scripts, getting things coded up in that initial loading help you first run, but it's actually going to lead to longer-term pains around maintenance. What happens when that developer you hired is no longer available? Code really ends up becoming a black box. As the CRM system or the different systems you're connecting to evolve, a new feature added, new APIs are revved, we're going to have to figure out how to move that code forward. So ultimately, it becomes very brittle, very cumbersome, and can lead to downstream challenges in terms of overall integration quality. A lot of research, and we can certainly provide you with some of that around just benefits of a tools-based approach versus hand coding when it comes to data integration. The second thing then a lot of organizations consider are native tools from the vendor. And last year, Informatica Cloud, we ran a webinar with Salesforce, in conjunction with Salesforce, because they understand what they have and what they don't have. And so we walked through Salesforce product management, the Input Wizard, their data loader, the Apex data loader tool. Who is it for? What can it do? What is it not designed to do? And things I think are useful from this chart, and this comes from Salesforce. They walk through the Import Wizard, which is pretty limited in its functionality. What you people then start to look to is the Apex data loader, which is a client-based or a desktop tool that's really for advanced administrators and developers. The Uber nerds, I thought, was pretty funny to put in the slide. But it's pretty free in its interface, command-line interface, and it's for CSV file formats. So a lot of people get some value out of it, but for ongoing projects, it becomes fairly limited, which is why there's so many new vendors and new options to consider when it comes to tools-based approaches. Why is cloud approach to data loading becoming so prevalent? So the first is you want to find something that your users actually like, that it's easy to use. Maybe it goes without saying in the software as a service world, but it hasn't always been the case in the data integration tools world. A lot of the traditional tools have been designed for more advanced users, and really focused over the last 4 or 5 years at Informatica of breaking down the barriers to adoption of these tools by focusing on self-service and ease of use. So the second is around upgrading. You want to make sure that you have a tool to do that can manage your integration that will be as agile as the application itself. So, for example, if you, as one customer said to me not too long ago, it takes me, within Salesforce, it takes 5 seconds to add a field. It takes me 6 months or even 6 weeks to get data into that field. It's a real problem. So you want to make sure that your integration can keep up with the pace as new fields, new information is added to the SaaS application. Our cloud-based solution should be as agile. So in Informatica, with the cloud service, we're doing 3 or 4 upgrades a year. It is a multi-tenant service like Salesforce, so that as Salesforce adds new functionality, we're keeping up. We're supporting the latest APIs. We're trying to really leverage the innovation and move at the same pace that the application vendors are also moving at. So, and at the same time, as upgrades happen, when new users are delivered, that'd be fairly seamless to your users. So they just automatically get those new capabilities, depending on the addition of the service they're running, and we'll talk a bit more about that later today. And finally, the last image here is about scalability. Again, a lot of choices are made around data loading that become quite tactical, or often tactical, where they solve a short-term problem, but they can actually result in a longer-term challenge. So Informatica's, whether it's our data loader or the different editions of Informatica Cloud integration, we give you a path forward. We make sure that as your volumes and complexity grow, we're going to be right there with you at every step of the way. So let's talk about Informatica Cloud. Informatica Cloud is if you're familiar with what we have offered here for the last few years, we're proud of our track record with Salesforce. We recognized 5 years in a row as really the customer choice on the AppExchange based on quality and quantity of reviews. And our free data loader is the first step in. It's the way to dip your toe in, get some traction, start moving some data around, and decide if there are some other capabilities that you're going to look for or need as your requirements grow. It's really critical for us to offer that upgrade path as you do, or if you do, want to advance in your environments. Some of the things we focus on: point-and-click integration. You'll see in the demonstration the wizards-based approach, and trying to really deliver self-service to our users. So, CRM administrators can run the tool, as well as providing some more advanced capabilities for the more advanced users. Rapid deployment. So you can really, on this webinar today, you can go to informaticacloud.com and sign up for a trial or sign up for our data loader. So it's that quick to get up and running and actually start integrating data. And then the platform itself. So leverage the same engine as the core market-leading technology from Informatica, but it's all covered. So that's not necessarily important to you as you're getting going with your first data load, but it's going to be important to you later as your requirements grow. Let's just hit a few of these before I hand it over to Krupa to take us through the demonstration of what's new from Informatica with our data loader. So the first is you're going to see in our demonstration, this does install as a tab with sign-on. So very quickly you can integrate this into your environment for your users or for your administrators. You'll also see the wizard-based interface, so walking through the steps of an integration. One of our customers said to us at one point, this is as easy to use as online banking. So we want to really make it accessible to you to walk through the data loading steps. The step is our data loader connects with, in this case, Salesforce and database and files. So it is designed to connect one SaaS application or platform with a database and a file. If you want to start to expand your connectivity options, we have different editions available from basic and standard and enterprise and up. But really want to help you get started with that database and file integration, help you load that data in and move forward. Another good to understand, and we'll take you through this in the demonstration, the expressions. So what's available for doing some formatting of your data and transform that data as it does move in and out of Salesforce, and then scheduling. So a lot of our users consider this as sort of set and forget it, where you can just automate this and have it run on a maybe it's a nightly basis or every few times a day. So scheduling is included in Informatica's cloud data loader. We'll take you through a few new capabilities in that area as well. I'll just talk a little bit about the architecture. So if this is a new concept to you, if you've used, say, the Apex data loader or not as familiar with Informatica, just walk through that you go to our website, you sign up, and you log in and start to want to integrate some data. We'll ask you where do you want to run your secure agent that's going to be doing the moving of data to and from Salesforce, and what systems do you want to connect with. Multi-tenant cloud-based repository, so all customers are running on the same edition of Informatica Cloud, which is why when we upgrade, you all benefit from the new functionality. We do high-performance engine, so we are very proud of the volumes of data we can load in and out. And you can see actually last week we hit a milestone where we're integrating over 2 billion records a day through multi-tenant service. And you can visit trust.informaticacloud.com if you're interested in some of those stats. And finally, the guy throwing in his hand, that's meant to indicate that you can really start here with the data loader and expand. So as your functionality requirements grow, you can move up to different editions over time with Informatica. You might not know about, we do have a mobile app, which is available for our free data loader users. So you can actually go to the App Store or Play and actually download this app and run it in conjunction with Informatica's data loader and use it to monitor update tasks on a mobile device. It's pretty cool and quite popular with our users. So I'm going to go over to you, Krupa. It's pretty enough of me talking about Informatica Cloud Data Loader. Why don't I hand it over to you to take a demonstration?
Sure. Thank you. Hi, everybody. This is Krupa Natarajan. I'm with the product management team here at Informatica Cloud. And I'll be happy to walk you through just how easy it is to get started with the data loader and get your first integration up and running in literally, as we can show here, in less than 5 minutes. I'm logged into Salesforce right now, and over at AppExchange, we have the Informatica Data Loader for Salesforce, which is a free data loader product. As you can see, this has been awarded the best integration app for 5 years running. And if you go in there, just follow the normal app installation process. You can click on Get It Now, log into your AppExchange, and it will be installed natively into your Salesforce as an integration tab. So over here, if I move over to Informatica Data Loader, as simple as that, you will have Informatica Data Loader available in your Salesforce org. Now here, we have a single sign-on to the Informatica Cloud application. As Dan was mentioning before, Informatica Cloud is a pure cloud solution. It's a multi-tenant application that runs all of our services, including the free data loader, but also all of our high-end editions with more advanced functionality on the same single multi-tenant SaaS platform, which is highly scalable. So regardless of whether you're using the free loader or one of our advanced options, get the same level of scalability and ease of use that's being offered, and it's a trademark of Informatica Cloud's the product experience. So I'm in Informatica Cloud right now. As first-time users, the first thing you will get to is this very quick getting started with Informatica Cloud video. I encourage that you go over that quick video to see what you need to set up. And the very first thing that you will need to do is install what we call a secure agent, which is a very small footprint, self-upgrading client component that you install on-premise behind your firewall, which provides access in your databases and file system. A secure agent can be downloaded from here. It takes less than 5 minutes to download, and once you set it up, it communicates with the central Informatica Cloud application server over secure port. You need not open up any special ports for this to function. It uses the standard HTTPS connection to talk to Informatica Cloud, and serves as the work agent. So Informatica Cloud centrally knows what jobs you need to run, what integrations you need to run, and it instructs the Informatica Cloud secure agent to actually execute the job, and in turn the agent has access to your file system and your databases and is able to grab data from sources and load them into Salesforce. Any questions about the secure agent, feel free to reach us, and we'll be happy to answer that. The neat thing about this is it's self-upgrading once you set it up once. As we go through upgrades, as we go through keeping up the pace of changes in any of this cloud applications such as Salesforce, the agent self-upgrades and it's completely maintenance-free. So from that point on, you pretty much don't have to come back to the agent at all. So agent setup one quick thing to note is that the final step of your agent setup would ask you to register your agent with Informatica Cloud. You will notice here that you can set up your Informatica Cloud password with your user profile and be sure that you use that password when you're registering. And again, once it's registered, it's set it and forget it, and from that point, Informatica Cloud application takes over and keeps the agent updated. So the architectural detail out of place now. Let's walk through a real integration. Now, what we're going to do is build a data loading integration job, which is going to grab data from a file that I have on my laptop and move that account data into Salesforce. And I'm going to build that here in the demo with all of you, and we should be done in less than 5 minutes. So I'm at the application data synchronization tab, and I'm going to go ahead and start building this new application. Let me call it load accounts to CRM, and I can choose what operation I want this job to perform. It could be an insert, it could be an update, and we also support upserts, which can be based off of your Salesforce IDs or any external ID that you provide. In this case, I'm going to choose insert. And notice that one of the key features of Informatica Cloud is the ease of use, and that's largely contributed by this very simple 6-step wizard that we take you through. And the wizard is self-explanatory. You choose where you want to grab your data from, choose where you want to move the data to, define any filters if you need to, and then define your mapping and then schedule your agent. So it's a simple interface that we'll be walking through. So using my source, so I'll choose my file system on my laptop. This is a connection that I've pre-created, and all I've done here is chosen which directory from my laptop that I want to grab the file from. So in this case, let me choose my data directory.
Can I ask a question, Krupa, about connectivity? There's a few questions about access and different data sources. SQL, the latest version of SQL. Can you comment on some of those updates?
Absolutely. So we provide most databases and files, as well as Salesforce, can be connected to out of the box. Just clicked on the new connection dialog, and I can define a connection to Oracle, SQL, MySQL, and so on. The neat thing is that Informatica Cloud is not only an application, but it's also a platform, and we have a very easy to consume connector toolkit that can be leveraged to build a connectivity to any application that's available and exposes APIs to integrate with. We also have the Informatica Cloud Marketplace, which has a connector mall where pre-built connectivity to many of the cloud applications such as NetSuite, any other ERP solutions, and a number of cloud applications that are available, which you can just install from the marketplace and make it available. So you would see this list is not just limited to databases and flat files, but it's ever growing and ever expanding from the toolkit.
So great. So there's a lot of broader connectivity options. The data loader, the free data loader, is to connect Salesforce and database and files. So if you want to connect to other SaaS applications and other sources, take advantage of the marketplace, that would be something that's available to you with one of our more advanced editions, starting at professional and above.
Right. So I'm pointing my directory, and then it pulled up all the files that I have in the directory. So this is the CSV file that contains the account information that I want to load into Salesforce. As soon as I pick it, I have a data preview, which is very convenient, so I get to see whether this is the right data that I want to move. In the next step, I'm going to choose Salesforce as my target, and I've created this connectivity to Salesforce by just giving basic information such as username, password. So you see what that looks like here. I just provided username, password, and security token. And then all of my Salesforce objects would be listed here, including custom objects. So you can load data to any of your Salesforce objects. In this case, I'm going to pick account, and there's a data preview that gets loaded, so I can be sure I'm picking the right object. I have an optional data filter, so if I don't want to grab all of the source data, if I want to limit it to X number of rows, if I want to define a condition by which I want want to grab data, it's very simple to do so. I'm going to skip over this optional step and move on into the most interesting part of this integration, which is mapping your source data into the Salesforce object fields. So on the left-hand side are all the columns that were pulled up from the file from where I'm grabbing the data. On the right-hand side are all the fields of the account object, and you will see that Informatica Cloud has already gone ahead and auto-mapped some of these fields for me. For example, account number is very similar in name. Column name account number is very similar to the field name account space number. Informatica Cloud has some intelligence built in to automatically pre-map these. Now, in cases it is not pre-mapped, it's a simple drag and drop to actually map those fields. Going ahead and mapping the country and city fields. You'll notice that I have an address 1 and address 2 column over on my file, but I only have a single billing street in the Salesforce object. So obviously I'll have to massage that data before I can move it into that. So what I'm doing here is mapping address 1 into the billing street. And when I bring address 2 over into the same field, Informatica Cloud creates an expression and concatenates those two fields for me, which is pretty convenient because that was my intention, concatenate those two fields and move them into a single field on the target. If that's not all the expression that I want, if I want to be able to customize that transformation, there's more than 300 pre-available functions that can be used to build your expression. So in this case, if I want to trim the address field before I move it, I can just choose the trim option and be able to do that. So the number of transformation options available makes it really powerful to not only grab your data, but also work on that data and convert it into formats that your target is expecting before you move that data over to your target. A few fields that I will need to map here, such as account name, and pretty much it. Once I've done all the dragging and dropping, my fields are integrated. And the last step here, once I've built that integration, is really to schedule it. Now, this is where it's not just a one-time ad hoc integration job, but this is something that you can use for ongoing synchronization between, let's say, your database or file and Salesforce. So if you know that new data will arrive at the file on a nightly basis, or data in that database keeps changing, you can build this job to run on a schedule, and you can pretty much define any schedule that you want. You could say weekly or nightly, and choose the repetition pattern, and make this run on a repeating basis so data remains synchronized from that point onwards, and you don't have to come and do it manually. That's pretty much it. We've really built that integration, but if you want to go beyond that, there's really a lot of powerful capabilities that Informatica Cloud has that you can leverage. And some of the quick things that I want to highlight here is the ability for you to choose between the standard or the bulk API mode to load data into Salesforce, which is pretty convenient, especially when you're loading large amounts of data into Salesforce. Also have a great flexibility in terms of pre- and post-processing commands. These can integrate directly with any native legacy scripts that you have. For example, you have a file from which you grab data. Now you want to go ahead and move that file to an archive directory so you don't process that file again. You can build some simple scripts around it and let Informatica Cloud know. So once the job completes, we'll go ahead and run that script to support any of your processes that you have running. Pretty much it. I'm going to save and close this job, and now it's available for me to start running. And I'll actually execute this job and show you what it's going to do. So here's the file that I'm grabbing data from. You notice this in the data preview that I took you through. Let me go ahead and close this out. And all back in Salesforce, to move over to my accounts tab and see this job's going to run and get data. So a custom view of accounts loaded today. There's no accounts that I've loaded so far. So I'm going to back over here and execute the job that we built, one of the jobs that I've pre-built, which is very similar. And as soon as I click on the little play icon over there, it's going to run in the background and then generate the data into Salesforce. It's running. We also have a functionality built around ease of administration. So there's a way for you to come in and look at your previous runs of integration jobs, monitor them as they are in progress. You could easily get to your success and error files that get generated from Salesforce, so you can look into what data was moved versus not. And also, all of this is available from the mobile app. So if you set up a job and you want to quickly look into the status of the job from the mobile app, it's a very convenient feature that many of our customers use for, especially from an administrative perspective.
And so enhancements we've added recently for Informatica Cloud are on the usability side. Some of the view options, the search options, anything to comment on sort of that all users are benefiting from as we come forward with releases?
Absolutely. So there's a very convenient search here. If I'm looking for previous errors, I just type that and it filters down to the job. So it's convenient from looking to job statuses from previous executions. We also have this view feature that's been very popular with our user base. You can define custom views that would filter down your jobs, integration jobs. So you want to look only into your successful jobs, you can do so. If you want to look only into your failed jobs, you pretty much define any criteria that will help you focus in and narrow into the jobs that you want to look into. And one of the things that we really are very proud about from an Informatica Cloud perspective is the close interaction that we have with our customer base and our user base. We have our Informatica Cloud user community, which you can quickly link to from within the application. It's very activity going on in the user community, and we have this idea site where our customers and users pretty much give us ideas into how we can improve the ease of use and the experience of using Informatica Cloud. We introduced this views functionality, which was pretty popular, and one of our customers said, they posted to our community site and they said, hey, the views is great. We use it a lot, but it would be convenient if we can choose a favorite view that you can default to. So whenever we come back into the data synchronization tab, it's that favorite view that we want to go to without having to choose it from the drop-down. That sounded great, so we went ahead and implemented that in our recent release in February 2013. Now, if you choose let's say I have failed jobs over here, and I'm step away from this tab into other parts of the application, I move on back to the activity log, it would come to the last view that I stepped away from. If I want to set up a favorite view, I can go into my user preferences and set a particular view as the most useful one. Let's say there's one critical integration job that I monitor most of the time. That can set up a view that takes me to that. And once it's set up as a favorite view, regardless of where I stepped off from, I would always be taken back to that view when I land on the activity log page. So a lot of convenience features, a lot of administrative conveniences, and a power given to our users. That's it. Our integration job completed. Let's go back into Salesforce and reload the accounts, and you have all of these data that have been moved in over here.
But we have a few questions I wanted just to hit right here. So one question is about deleting transferred data and reloading.
Mm-hmm.
Can you talk about that? Is that an option with the free data loader?
If you want to delete data from Salesforce, you can build an integration job to delete it. Like I said, when I went to build here, I chose the insert option. Delete is available, and you delete by a criteria. We don't really support any kind of rollback, because once we commit and insert or upsert data into Salesforce pretty much commits it. But if you want to look into error log file and then define a criteria by which you want to delete certain data, you can build an integration job that can use the delete. And also, Salesforce has two options for delete. One is the hard delete, and the other is the normal delete, that is kind of like the recycle bin movement. And we do support hard delete when you choose the bulk API mode, which only possibility that Salesforce provides as well. Hard delete is available through bulk, and we support the same. If you want to do a hard delete, choose the bulk API option and then define your delete criteria.
Okay, great. Another question about, is the data transfer applicable to opportunities as an update to an existing account?
Sure. So I'm not pretty clear on exactly what the question is, but if you're referring to as and when your opportunity changes, if you want to keep that data in sync with an order data or opportunity data that's available somewhere, and if you want this to happen in real time, then do have a support for outbound message, which is available in the Pro basic.
It's a basic and above.
And above feature. But the neat thing is from the free data loader, you can upgrade to any of these advanced functionality without having to redefine redefine jobs. With this account that you have your integration jobs built, can be upgraded to one of our editions.
Great. So I've shared the link, informaticacloud.com/editions, if you want to understand kind of what's available in each of the editions of Informatica Cloud. We're focusing today on the free service, but to summarize really quickly before we kind of wrap up, the number of jobs. So you can't do real time with the free data loader. We have a limit of 24 jobs per day, unlike in our basic edition where we support outbound messaging. We have more, no limits on the number of jobs that you can run. Free data loader is for database and file integration only with Salesforce. And so as you want to expand your connectivity options and take advantage of our marketplace, that would be something we would work with you on a more advanced edition. There's a limit of number of implementations per org of Salesforce, so one Informatica Cloud free data loader per org, and a few you'll see on the website. But the goal is to make this very functional. As you can see here, we're supporting bulk and some of the new advancements from Salesforce. You can see how quickly Krupa ran this and moved data. Do you want to wrap up on what we saw?
Absolutely. So what I wanted to highlight is the ease of building this integration through very simple 6-step wizard. And you can do that integration and get it up and running in no time. And right on Informatica Cloud to take care of the scalability and availability and all of the back end. If you want to upgrade to real time and any of the advanced features, it's very easy to do so without losing your existing integration jobs. And pretty much it.
So that's an update on what's new. If we can just go back to the presentation, we want to just share with you a few other details here, and then give you some ideas, some best practices as you think about your data loading tasks. So thanks for the demonstration, Krupa. That's great stuff. So we've talked about the ease of upgrade and how we're really moving at a pretty innovation pace over here. Which is what you expect from a SaaS provider, software service provider. So in spring release, we've a number of new announcements, introduced a pre-release for some data masking capabilities. So as you want to start to mask your dev and test data, that's a new application we're going to be introducing. We've expanded into process with some new process automation capabilities, a very popular app on the AppExchange. You can search Cloud Extend, and you'll see that that's now part of the Informatica Cloud portfolio. So we're really expanding the data management strength, building out our data quality, our deduplication, to give you as much of a full feature set when it comes to the whole life cycle of data, as moving it in, as you're moving it out, as you're keeping it clean, etc. And so that's a lot of new functionality, new features available in our spring release, and you can learn more at Informatica Cloud's website. To summarize some of the enhancements around our free data loader, so Krupa took you through the user interface and the updates there around being able to create views, to be able to the improvements around the search. There's a lot of enhancements to the installation. We've heard some feedback that it's not as easy to get started as we'd like. So that's an area we're really focusing on, trying to make it as easy as possible for you to get going with the data loader and see further enhancements in that area this year. All KPI support, so that's something that Salesforce has been working with us on to make sure that we're able to support that capability. Pre- and post-command support and hard delete. I mentioned here that the actual support for hard deletes came directly from our ideas site. So we're active on the community. We want your input. We want to know what's important. And you'll just see Krupa quite often chiming in, trying to get more details from you as you do use that community resource. And that's something we'd like to see more of our partners and our customers take advantage of. It's a great channel into the product management team. So, up on a few best practices. There was a question about, can I update my opportunities here? So things that we see in terms of best practices. First of all, I guess it goes without saying, it's important to know your data, understand the object relationships. The better you are on that front, the more effective your data loading is going to be, and this is where a lot of our partners can help. We've built out a number of really critical partnerships, and we encourage you to do work with our partners to understand, learn more and take advantage of their knowledge in this area. One of the most common use cases is account and contact synchronization. So creating, loading in the accounts, then loading in the contacts. There are some advanced features that we didn't talk about today that are available in more advanced editions, like lookups and like task flows. There's a lot of things that you can get moved towards once you're going on your initial data loading project. So dependencies affect order, so users first, then accounts. That's something we've seen as a best practice. Data quality. So we just introduced Informatica Cloud MDM, and we have some pretty powerful deduplication capabilities available with our basic edition of Cloud MDM. You might not have known that Informatica can now also not only load and integrate your data, can also make sure it's of high quality, highly cleansed and enriched, standardized, consolidated. Some pretty powerful capabilities now from Informatica around data integration and data quality. And then we test, right? So load a few records first, validate the data, get started, and dip your toe in. And this is again the power of using a free service like Informatica Cloud Data Loader. So for next steps, just to leave you all with a resource. It's probably obvious, but the main is to go to the AppExchange and get it now. So you can, the free data loader is a free data loader, right? And a lot of people keep asking questions about pricing. It is free. So do take advantage of that and get going. And then, we will be happy to work with you if you have a different set of requirements or you want to talk to us about more advanced capabilities. Go ahead and install the mobile app. You'll actually see a link to it on the Informatica Cloud website. And you can actually search for it on iTunes or on the Google Play community. So search that, download that, connect it to your data loader org. It's pretty cool. It's a demo that I like to certainly show people and use because you can not only see which the fails and success of your jobs, you can restart them. So it's pretty simple in the use case. But I think it can be pretty powerful. So that is what we wanted to go through today. We will be sharing, I see a few late folks asking about the replay and the video. We will share that out with you all. And we do want to thank you all for joining today. Krupa, any final thoughts on the data loader or what's coming?
We have a lot of questions coming through on the chat, and we'll be answering those. Feel free to connect with us on the cloud community as well. And as Darren said, go and get the app installed and contact us through one of the sub-channels so we can answer your questions.
Yeah, good point. So informaticacloud.com, at the top of the website, you'll see a link to the community. We've just launched a blog, so we're trying to encourage our customers and partners to start to actually share with us some of their posts and best practices. But if you have technical questions, that's the first place to start. We also have a video website, which is videos.informaticacloud.com, where you can get with some training resources to help you get up and running. So with that, again, thank you for joining us today, and we look forward to seeing you in the community and answering your questions.
Thank you for joining us today. This concludes today's web conference. You now disconnect.